Okay, welcome. I hope you listened to the first creative sprint of this new format. So I've made a video explaining what this is all about. So I won't explain it here again in detail, but the gist, or the jux, or what is it? The bullet point is this. I give myself 30 minutes to produce a loop. And there are no constraints, or at least not in this video, there are no constraints. In the future there will be constraints other than the time limit of 30 minutes. But other than that, I could use could use everything in this video, and I did everything that I wanted to do. So okay, the breakdown or walkthrough is an extra video. In the future days will be only available on my Patreon, and maybe in the future will be released onto YouTube. Free to watch, of course, on YouTube, but on my Patreon there at the moment behind the paywall. So yeah, what's the strategy or the idea of this breakdown is to give you a further insight into my way of working. And also my thought process, so what was I thinking while producing the loop. We'll go through the instruments I used, through the tracks I made, and through the instruments and effects I used afterwards, while doing the breakdown, so you'll see what I did more in detail and also what my thought process was. So let's start with the first one. So it was this bass thing I made. Let's listen to it. So yeah, it's just a simple polymer wavetable I made, a bit snappy, and also like it's polymetric, I would say. It's the arpeggio has 9 steps. And it's on the 6th step at this moment that the arp goes down 1 octave. But because it's 9 steps, it doesn't always happen on the 6th step, and so it creates interest already. It's not a boring loop, and that's very important. Other than that, I didn't do nothing. I mean, it's just like a pretty simple synth, which is the idea. It doesn't have to be complicated, so not to bog me down in little things. That's the word I was looking for. So the next was this shaker loop. Now the shaker loop I made with a thing I use a lot. And I also mentioned this, or I also used this extensively in my the track we started back in over a year ago. I'll go deeper into how I do this because I want to make some videos on creative ways to combat writer's block, something I never have, I promise. And this is one thing I want to explain a lot. It's not a thing I came up with. It's a thing Tash, or at least I saw it from Tash teaches. But anyway, it's a simple. I just look for a shaker loop. It's an arpeggio that moves. I mean, it's arpeggiates, of course. I have 16 notes every time, and there's a step sequencer that moves the playhead. I'm not gonna go more into detail about this one. Like I said, I will explain it in another video. I also added a random modulator to do some panning. So there's like a stereo field thingy going on. Other than that, a delay to give it even more width and with some soft diffusion. That's it. Next was a snare. The snare is interesting because I never did it like this. I used so it's, if you see, it's a a note of 8 bars, sorry, just a continuous note. But then I put some note repeats as a note effects in Euclid. So the idea was to have a snare on the 2 and 4, but then adding, first of all, a step sequencer with 16 steps, but with a half note. So this means that the last 4, it's 4 16th notes, there will happen, this will modulate the density. So like you see, there will be more hits. Then after another steps to do some rotation, so like you see, it will get rotated, and depending on if it's here or here, it will get rotated more. Hope I'm explaining this correctly. And after another random to modulate the amount. I can't even remember the amount of, was it this one? There's a way to open both. Is it Alt, is it Control? It's, I don't know, is it Shift? I can't remember. You can open both modulators at the same time, but no idea how. Maybe you make it, move it to here. No. Yeah, I have to figure that out. Anyway, the amount of the modulation of this modulation. So again, this creates interest. So it's not always, well, this is always the same, but I'm not looking for, I don't have to look how to make a fill. The note repeats helps me in doing that. And so I have a fill at the end of the 4th bar and a fill at the end of the 8th bar. After that, of course, I added a kick. Also, added some convolution to the snare, and also the snare is not like a preset, it's just something I dialed in with the snare instrument in Bitwig. So next, the kick. The kick is just a normal V9 kick. I mean, it's an instrument out of Bitwig. Didn't do a lot of things. It worked, so didn't even add effects. So we added this. After, I wanted to add even more interest with some more percussion. So again, used the trick, pulled in a loop with the arpeggiator. Didn't do anything with the arpeggiator, but changed the steps. That modulates the playhead, and I probably changed some in the envelope. But afterwards, something I also do a lot is double or do some, it's doubling the instrument, because I have an effects layer, and there's a layer with a distortion from thermal, which I dialed in a bit. So if we solo this, so we lose a bit of the environment, I think. And after, or the second saturation I used was Isotope Trash. Search for a preset, also in thermal, I searched for a preset. But here we're modulating the mix a bit. And also it's not completely the full volume. So if you open here the modulator, this random modulator is modulating the mix of the trash saturator. Again, adding interest throughout a simple loop, because it comes in, it goes out. And afterwards, of course, I added an hat. If you need a rhythm, adds are always the way to go. again, it's not like programming in the heads, it's just a continuous note, 8 bars, but after, I mean, before the head I put in an arpeggiator, dialed in some velocity, and again, probably raised the velocity here. And also with, I think, the velocity modulator here. I need to choose expression. Yeah, modulated the decay. This drum machine is like a preset I made. It's like my favorite closed heads. It's always easy because if I want to, like, how do you say it, audition another head, I just have to move the note. And all my heads are a bit like another sound. And of course you can alter the sound afterwards as well, so yeah. This is one of my favorite heads. It was a pack I got from Isotope, way back. Can't even remember when it was. So yeah, then we end up with all this, which is great. I mean, it's a great loop. But it's missing something. And of course it's missing tonal interest. So, I added a piano. But of course, if you know me, I'm not gonna play the piano. I'm not a piano player, although I know the keys, where they are. It's like a very toned down piano. It's a bit too toned down, and I know why, because Decent Sampler does this a lot. I updated the Decent Sampler now, so maybe it doesn't do it anymore, although it always turns down the tone. Yeah. So what did I do? I searched for a chord, an interesting chord. It's a doubled. It's like a. Well, it's not a power chord, or you could call it a power chord because it only has 2 notes. It has the tonic and a third above it, so A and C. You could say it's an A minor without a fifth. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And that doubled over an octave. And then okay, here we go. So arpeggiator, just 16 steps, and I use a steps modulator to modulate the velocity and the gate length. What does this mean? It's actually simple, because everything that's every value below 0, it means that the gate and the velocity are below 0, or are 0 actually, so the note doesn't play. Yeah. Everything above gives a value to the velocity or the gate length. These are 16 steps. Doesn't really matter, it's just the full length. But these are 23 steps. So, over the full length of these chords, the steps modulator plays 2.5 times, something like that, or 2 1/3, doesn't matter. So during the complete 8 bars, it's hard to find a returning note, and that makes it interesting for me. I hope I explained that correctly, because, and again, I did here the same trick we did with was it the closed heads? Can't remember anymore. No, it was this bounce. So I doubled up, and then in this fact I quadrupled up the effects. So first we have a simple Bitwig delay, ping pong delay, with a modulator that's modulating the delay scalar, so the unit scalar. This means that sometimes we get like dotted notes, I think. and other times we get thirds or anything in between. I also added a feedback. No, sorry. I added an effect to the feedback, and this is a pitch shifter, which is modulated by a random modulator. And this random modulator can yeah, it's not very much. It's like 2.5 semitones, I think, maximum, yeah, of pitch modulation. Or not even that, I think. But doesn't matter. So the tone is a bit unstable. That's what I was looking for, the word. The other one is a portal. It's an effect by output. Found a preset and modulated here again the mix with a random modulator. Again, adds interest. Next, trash. I don't think I modulated anything here. It's just to add some saturation to the overall sound. And after that, or the fourth and last effect, which runs in parallel. Again, all effects play at the same time. That's also why I lowered the volume, but the fourth is a delay 2 out of Bitwig with 6 delays on the left and 8 on the right, and also with a random modulator, pretty fast, that's modulating the D tune. Now, because it's 4 times an effect, yeah, it's parallel, so I added a peak limiter because it's a bit, what am I looking for, unpredictable, what can come out of this, so that's why I added a peak limiter, and finally added reverb. It's one of my favorite reverbs from Plugin Alliance, from Brainworks, with just some space to add room, atmosphere, whatever. Didn't do a lot. I think I just lowered the size and the decay and turned up the mix. So we have this. Then, of course, I was missing. What was I missing? Another driver, let's say. Something to add drive to the loop. And I used a polysynth for that. But with the length of this clip is 2.5 bars. So this one just keeps running. And every 2.5 bars, it repeats. So this adds a polymetric feel. For the instrument, it's a polysynth and it's not a preset. So I yeah, fooling around, the right word, doesn't matter. I turned some knobs till I found like a sound I liked, like some unison voices, some detuning. I don't even think I touched the spread knob. Added in the second oscillator as well. I tuned it down a bit, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that's tuned down. Added some noise, some FM, let's say. Changed the envelopes a bit. So especially the attack. So it's not very transient, the sound. It's also more in the background because you're missing that transient. And after a simple ping pong delay, but now starting on the right, the ping pong starts on the right. But other than that, not a lot, maybe a bit of feedback. And then we end up, of course, with this. So after that, I wanted to add more percussion. So I loaded in a drum machine, just a preset from Bitwig, some acoustic toms. And of course, being the lazy guy I am, or looking for happy accidents, I didn't program in or wrote some notes. Well, I did write some notes. But these are 4 notes over 8 bars. I just chose the instruments or the toms I was most interested in without spending too much time. And then adding an arpeggiator. 11 steps. Again, it's like the piano here. No, it's not the piano, but probably the bass. As the same, yeah, almost the same. It's 9 steps, but now we're 11 steps with the 5th voice. Is it the 5th? Yeah, the 5th voice, an octave up. But yeah, what does that mean is that this plays up and down the notes that I have chosen, but when this octave hits, whatever is 8 semitones, an octave, 12 semitones, above this note, like for example, will play. If I explain this correctly. So this means that this note dictates a bit the difference. I mean, this dictates that there will be another drum that plays. A drum I didn't choose. And it could be anyone, because any drum, because it's 11 steps, so well, not any, but it's only or an octave above this one, an octave above this one, an octave above this one, or an octave above that one, of course. But this means that there's a bit of it's predictable, but not completely. I mean, it don't. You can count that. I mean, it's yeah, predictable. But it's the octave that adds the interest, let's say. Yeah. Okay. So again, after the drum machine, I didn't add any modulators here, but I added a thermal. It's one of my favorite saturation distortion plugins. Why? Because it has great presets and it's easy to dial in. I don't know. I think it sounds great. So. And then I added some steps sequencers to like modulate the second macro. So it's this one. So again, this adds more unpredictability. It makes the loop interesting. And a delay, ping pong delay, starting on the left. With I think these are the standard parameters. So yeah, and the final thing I added was an organ, which plays the exact same chords as the piano. I didn't have much time left, but I wanted to fill up the atmosphere a bit, so that's why I just chose whatever. I can't remember if I like searched here and put in an O, or if, yeah, or I wanted to use an organ. Doesn't really matter. The thing that matters is I wanted to add some interest, and I did it in this way. But of course, with some modulation. And the modulation happens here with a random modulator that's modulating the panning. It's not that interesting. It's polymetric, so the 4 notes that play pan in different ways. So not 4 are the same. That's not that interesting. So I added the delay, a ping pong delay with some standard parameters, but with the reverse algorithm tuned in a bit. So there's some time offset diffusion. So it sounds like a reverse. And then I added a pitch shifter, 12 semitones. This means that the delayed signal, the signal that comes out of the delay, so the feedback actually, is 12 semitones higher than the original organ in this case. And then I modulated the grain size. This is in 16 steps and in 16, no, it's not in 16 notes, it's in triplet 8 notes. So there's again some movement going on. It's pretty simple, it's not that complicated, but it with easy steps, it's like the 20-80 rule or something. With 20% of the effort, you can go 80% of the way. It's probably what I was looking for. So everything together sounds like this. Yeah. So that was the first creative sprint. That's the title I'm going for. And there will be many more in the future. I hope you enjoyed the creative sprint looking at it. It's always an half an hour, so it's pretty digestible, I think. And I try to... The idea is not to keep it interesting. The idea is to keep it... to make it interesting for me. And hopefully this will automatically make it interesting for the one who watches. And the idea of these breakdowns is that I give a bit of explanation to what I did, my thought process, and also my struggles, because this one went pretty easily, let's say. But in the future there will be some, I will be adding more challenge to the challenge, adding challenge to the challenge. So it won't always be this easy. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And let's keep it up. Let's see each other in the next one. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.